Do, 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 do. Bam, bam, pew, 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 pew. Sorry about that. That was unnecessarily loud. Uh, whoop. We are. Wait, hold up. Okay, hold up. I just now realize how. Wait, is my headphone? Yeah, my headphones are on. Okay. I just now realize how like how badly everything is organized on my like screen right now, to the point where I'm I almost think like, damn, do I need like a third screen? Okay, I already have two screens, okay? Do I need like a third one? Okay. Spoilers at the door. Welcome back. We are here in Blender, learning Blender from uh Blender Guru, right? Blender Guru. I mean, this man does talk does walk the walk and talks the talk. So we're learning stuff from him. We by his guidance had learned to make these wonderful Blender objects. Look at this. We got plates. We got cups. Okay, this cup I made without him. This cup I made without him. This is the cup that I made with him. With his ingenious lessons. But we on the previous lessons we learned to create basic shapes. We learned to solidify. We learned to shrink wrap. We learned something else. I forgot. To remember. Oh no, we learned that like eye feature, which I have no idea. Like I still don't know what exactly is the difference between the eye feature of press in Blender and press and extrude. It feels almost the same, but like eye is a little bit different. It's something I for invent, intervene, something.
Created to like emit no reflection.
Oh, we also learned to like make objects smoother, through either smooth auto shade smooth feature or through specific modifiers, and then you can transform into generate into proper mesh. That yeah, that's what we learned. Now we're coming back to this tutorial, learning more from our guru master. Please tell us, a wise guru, what's next step
Simplifying it.
after we generated and colored all of our objects.
But yeah, black. So this is
We don't need to skip
like
because
and
it's been like a week since I've seen this video, so I had to like my YouTube did not remember the thing, so I needed to like skip around to where we approximately were.
the donut. And it's really important for just two things, which is food and characters. And it is that when light hits objects like this, they are mushy, right? They're made of like organic matter. And so light actually enters the object and it kind of scatters around inside it and then it re-exits it. It's the reason why when you like look at your hand in front of a light or the sun or something, you can see the light shining through. You can even see your bones through your hand if it's a bright enough light. So it's called
Yeah, that's what he was explaining for the textures that we applied. Well, it's not really a texture as much as just basic paint. But we got like this delicious glaze over these donuts. Look at this, yummy, yummy. Oh no, we also learned something that I think I already forgot. But there was like I think it was add um not curved surface. Lattice. It was lattice. We added a lattice, which I don't remember where. There it is, the lattice. We added the lattice to one of these donuts, and we shaped around the donuts after we already finished with everything to make some donuts look kind of a little bit fucked, like this one, right? You see, it's kind of like all bent and curved. Um, just put it back. So we made the stack of donuts by multiplying the donuts with Shift D.
subsurface scattering, and that value is underneath here where it says subsurface. If you go down here, you want to turn the weight all the way up to 1, because this is not the intensity of it. This is just like, apparently this value is supposed to be 0 or 1. It shouldn't be somewhere in between. To control how much of it is the scale, which is how far into the surface will the light penetrate. And then you can see here, you can increase this or decrease this, and you can see the light kind of get into it. Now by default, it looks red, which I also think is a mistake. It's very suitable for characters, because characters need red because inside a character is blood, right? But for every other thing like food, it shouldn't be red. And confusingly, and I know there's a mathematical reason for this because of like how light and the physics of things, but like different wavelengths travel at different speeds, right? Inside the, so that's how I understand it.
I'm trying to figure out if there is actually any difference as I'm looking at this donut. No, sorry, it's scale. What was he at radius, right? Yeah, I literally can't see the difference.
So they've made the color of the subsurface R, G, and B separated here. So you can see we've got red as 1, then we've got green as 0.2, and then blue as 0.1. So essentially, I need to clear all those out and make them 1, which, here's a tip, you can drag over multiple values in Blender. So if you just click and drag down across something, and then you can just type in 1, and then hit enter, and it makes all those 1. And then now I can, tweak this. I can make this look a little bit more milky like that. But we can adjust those. I'll do the same thing for my donut here. Give it some subsurface, turn that up, and then I'll set this to 1, and then, let's just leave it at the default value. But you can see that that's with subsurface on. Actually, let me bring the camera in. All right, I'm going to go lock it, bring this in, I'm going to do a before and after renders. This is how you can use these slots. So this is with subsurface on, then I'll go to slot 2, and now I'm going to select this, and I'll turn it off. And
Just a second. My neighbor just gave me a bunch of bananas and one single orange. I guess I'm having a smoothie tomorrow.
And I'll do another render. And now hit J back and forth. So that's the difference that subsurface can make to something. You can see here where it's like fully dark, it's actually now the light is passing through it, and that's what gives something a milky kind of look. And it's, as I said, it's mostly true for things like food. You can see it. I take photos of it myself all the time when I'm out and about because I'm like, look at that subsurface, and my family think I'm weird. But I think it's cool. So anyways, there you go. So that's subsurface. All right, I'm going to pull the camera out to here, and then let's add a table, because this has to be a table. We're going to do the texturing in the next part, but let's add a table. Now, normally, if it was a table that you were, make sure I turn that off while I orbit around. If this was a large scene, right, whatever you would have to do, like model an actual table. If you know the camera is only going to be here, doesn't matter about anything except the top surface. So all we need to model is Shift-A, plane. That's it. That's our table. I just have to scale it up a little bit, but this is our table. It's actually really common in 3D if you look at like breakdowns of 3D scenes in movies and stuff. Everything is fakery. They're just like buildings are cards. They're just like a plane with a texture slapped on it. Nothing is real. When the camera moves, they might have to like model things properly, and people go like, oh, I have to model it now. But like if the camera's here, it doesn't matter.
I kind of speed him up because we need to like skip to the more important part.
There you go. So that's a donut on a plate with a mug, and that for somebody who has never used 3D before, that's an achievement. This is the kind of thing that like back in the 90s, you probably would have won like scholarships for and stuff if you could pull this off. This used to be insanely difficult. It is still pretty difficult because 3D is hard. But yeah, if you have if you're new at it, this should make you proud. You've pulled this off. If you want to save this, by the way, you can go image and then go save, and you can just save an image PNG. You got all the options, JPEG, etc. However, if you want to make this look good in the next parts, we're going to be making this look much better by doing some texturing and making our table look good and adding some ceramic textures and things to different objects. But this is kind of the end of the basic primitives, the donut tutorial. So we touched on basic primitives. We add slight deformations. We extruded some things to create like an organic looking shape. Did a little bit of sculpting, and then we created a mug, right? And then did some modifiers and subsurf to kind of create the general shape there. So those are kind of some of the techniques that you will need to learn to create lots of different objects in the future. Just some though. But there are so many other techniques and tools, precision modeling mostly with hard objects, how to keep straight lines, and then modeling something that is really custom and deformed, getting those like large-ish shapes there, and just kind of like almost using the mesh like a guide.
Oh, he's using bevel there, right? Pretty sure this is like a bevel.
Shapes there, and just kind of like almost using the mesh like a guide mesh to kind of create shapes. And then actual characters, like sculpting a character from nothing, and then actually converting that character into something that looks and has like subdivision so that the arm can move, and then rigging that character so that you can actually move the arms like a puppet. So these are the kinds of techniques that we don't have time to go into in the donut, but I do have time to go into in my...
No. Actually, hold up. One thing that we were watching before we finished yesterday is the There have been why good topology is important. No, this is not it either. There was like an explanation from him where he was talking about Blender, something like this. Okay, before that, this one. This is actually pretty interesting for me because I'm curious.
Why do studios hate Blender? I mean, if you look at the most used 3D software, Blender is by far the most popular.
Okay.
So what is it about it that they don't like? I've been using Blender for 3 years, and it's fast, intuitive, it's got tons of support and add-ons that improve its functionality. So why choose to spend thousands of dollars on other programs when Blender is so good? Do studios know something about these other programs that the average 3D artist doesn't? Well, the surface level answer to this question is really obvious. But if we truly want to understand why studios
Okay, my guess, surface level answer is the same reason why like people still use Photoshop where there's like alternatives, especially in like especially in the industries, is because like Photoshop and other companies will provide free services to students that are learning this in like schools and stuff, and then people who are and then when people graduate, they're gonna be like, oh, well, I gotta use the tools that I learned it on, and like switching gonna be difficult, so they like spend money on it. Another thing I assume is something like the fact that if you're in the industry, you're gonna have like some sort of industry standard. You know, it's because there's gonna be like some specific things that you need to adhere to.
choose to ignore Blender, we need to dig a little bit deeper. So Blender was first released in 1994, but that was not the Blender that we all know. The open source Blender that everyone uses today was released in 2002. There was a whole ownership battle between the creator and the investors who wanted to keep Blender paid, but eventually the creator won and Blender was made open source. However, when it was released to the public, it was already outclassed by other programs like Maya or 3ds Max that were already being used by professionals. And it was only really in the past few years that Blender has become viable for professional work. That means that during the 2000s, when CGI became cheaper than practical
Okay, interesting.
filmmaking for most projects, Blender wasn't even an option. So from 2002 all the way up to 2019, when Blender 2.8 was released, it really wasn't that viable for professional productions at all. It was
Wait, until how long?
released. It really 2002 all the way up to 2019, when Blender 2.8 was
Until 2019. Okay, that would explain it. If up until 2018, people were like essentially, it wasn't as good of a software, and there was so many alternatives. Yeah, it explains why so many people would like not be using Blender.
released. It really wasn't.
It's kind of like everybody and their mom used Windows up until like Linux became more viable for operating systems, like for servers, right? Like now a lot of like servers and government shit and like other stuff is run on Linux. But back in the day, Windows, including the fact that some like old government shit still run on like Windows like 7, even below like 790 Windows 95 or whatever, because it's kind of just like it's tried and true method, you know.
Viable for professional productions at all. It was slow, had no support, and it was difficult to modify with add-ons because all the major add-on and plugin developers were focusing on plugins for the big four. So what changed? Why is Blender more viable today than it was back then, and why are studios still choosing to ignore it? So first of all, with Blender 2.8 came a new user interface, which is more friendly to new artists. They improved scene updates, which made Blender more responsive. They added Eevee, Blender's real-time render engine. They added Grease Pencil for 2D animators, and they added the collection system that we all know today. So this update was a huge
Grease Pencil?
2D animators, and they added the collection system that we all know today. So this update was a huge leap forward. But since then, we've seen other massive updates like Cycles X, light linking, and geometry nodes, just to name a few. So in the last 5 years, Blender has improved dramatically. And with the improvements to Blender also came new support from the community. A massive wave of Blender users that had just picked up the program by watching YouTube tutorials. All of these improvements left people wondering.
Hey, Blender Guru, this is the guy we were watching, okay?
All of these improvements left people wondering. Why do studios still choose to spend thousands of dollars on other programs when Blender is free? To answer that question, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a visual effects supervisor. You work at a large visual effects house, let's just say Weta for example, and you spend $180,000 per year to kit out your team of 100 artists with their choice of Maya, 3ds Max, Cinema 4D, or Houdini, depending on their role in your team. So let's just say that switching to Blender would save you $180,000 per year. It's a no-brainer, right? Well, not at all. According to ZipRecruiter, the average salary of a visual effects artist working in a studio is $105,900 per year. It's just in the US, but let's just roll with it. So let's assume that each person on your team would take 2 full months of full-time work to reach the same expert level of proficiency in Blender that they had on their old program. If that were the case, then in just lost time, you would lose one.
Yeah, so again, it's the thing that I was talking about, where like if you're learning Photoshop in high school / university, and then you move on to working with, you're gonna move on to working with Photoshop again in like bigger corporation, and obviously then you're gonna be like, hey, where's Photoshop? Okay, I cannot use Maya or whatever the fuck. I don't know, some like alternative.
$1.765 million, enough to pay for almost 10 years of subscriptions for your whole team. Now, this example makes a whole lot of assumptions, but it just sort of gives you a feel for the sort of considerations that these studios have to make. And this doesn't even factor in the most important detail. Blender is worse. Now, Blender being a jack-of-all-trades program means that on an individual level, it is in some ways better than each of these other programs. But when you have Maya for your animation team, 3ds Max for modeling, Maya for simulations, and so on, your efficiency and quality of work is going to just be better than Blender. I say that as a Blender fan. I use Blender for the vast majority of my work, both for freelance and just for YouTube. But at the highest level of production, it's kind of garbage, especially when you consider that studios spend hundreds of millions of dollars on feature films. So what's an extra $100,000 to get the best-in-class visual effects software? So those are some obvious considerations, and they tell us why Blender is not industry standard right now. But the next reason is why Blender will never be industry standard. So if you're a studio looking to pick up a Maya subscription for 100 3D artists, you're essentially buying Maya in bulk. You're going to be spending a ton of money, and Autodesk wants to make sure that you're happy so they can keep getting paid. Well, discounts are everywhere. For instance, I work at a water garden store. If a customer buys an entire roll of pond liner instead of just a smaller piece, we give them a 10% discount to try and incentivize that. But we can't really give a much bigger discount than that, because at a certain point, we're just going to be losing money. The more liner we sell, the more money it costs us as well. When Autodesk sells a Maya subscription, it isn't selling a physical product that costs it more the more it sells. It doesn't cost them more to have more users. That means that they can discount however much they need to make the sale. Now, obviously, the public does not have access to the business statements of these large visual effects houses.
Which is, by the way, why like entire like Adobe scheme. Number one, Adobe does have their own 3D software. That's when I looked at it, was essentially just Blender. And it's like, number one, like they're obviously late entering the program. Like you kind of like you showed up the latest to the party. Okay, you really cannot be out there. But like it's also subscription based. So it's kind of like, why the fuck would you spend so much money when like there is like other alternatives? Number one, you're late to the party. Number two, you're still asking subscription base every single time, and it's like, what is it? Does it cost you like more? Like it's not a physical product. It's not, like it's not like every single day you're coming in like fucking fixing how my engine works. It's probably gonna have like updates. It's not like you even running a server unless you're counting like the Creative Cloud servers, which I can't imagine fucking cost as much as like they demand on monthly subscription. Adobe is such an ass.
But it wouldn't surprise me at all if Weta had a deal with Autodesk that says, we'll buy Autodesk for all 1,000 of our employees, and we'll do that for the next 10 years, but you have to give us a 50% discount. This is essentially a win-win. Autodesk secures a big client for years to come, and Weta saves millions of dollars. Now, while I personally...
Yeah, they can essentially just say like, they can, because they can put like any price they want, so they can be like, it costs $100 a month, but for you 50, and it's like standard price is 50 for every other software.
believe that this is going on, it is somewhat conjecture, but the next reason is proven. Large visual effects houses get support. We just talked about why Autodesk would be incentivized to keep Weta happy. They wouldn't want to lose a multi-million-dollar account. So if Weta has an issue with 3ds Max, they have access to support from the Autodesk team. Now, Autodesk offers support to all of its users, but there have been many cases of individuals who have reported that Autodesk just completely ignores their complaints. Yet while Autodesk feels like it can lose one user, it definitely doesn't want to give up servicing an entire company. This creates an even bigger divide. While indie studios and individuals get ignored, these larger studios enjoy the support that everyone was advertised. This is why many small indie studios and individuals choose to opt for Blender, rather than dropping the cash on an expensive suite of programs. So after all of that, why do studios hate Blender? They're basically just saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why would we stop using the programs that are working so well?
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Good guy. Thanks. Where was the previous video?
My course called the Beginner's Academy. So all of these things you can see on the screen here are taught in that academy. If you only want to learn Blender for free and you just want to do this donut, that is fine. But if you want to go further and you want to learn how to actually think like a 3D artist and take an idea from your head and actually convert that into something that you can use, whether that be for 3D printing or for rendering or for whatever visualization purpose you have, that's create something that.
Sorry, we gotta skip this next thing. I appreciate the Blender Academy advertisement and everything, but like.
Donut. But you've learned enough now that if you want to jump straight to that, you could. But if you want to continue on, we will jump into texturing next. I will see you in the next video.
Okay.
It's time to texture these bad boys, finally, after hinting at it for so long. So we added some simple materials, and that is actually fine for some types of objects. Like you might actually have a plate and go like, it's just a white plate. Doesn't need any texture, but most things need texture. So I'm going to select my table floor here. I'm going to go to the material panel right here, and I'm going to add a new material since it doesn't have one. And let's look at how to add a texture. So right here where we've got base color, if we want to add a color texture, we just click on this little yellow dot next.
Wait, hold up. I'm just trying to figure out how did he make this so glossy that like it's clearly not add in metallic part. Oh wait, decrease roughness? Nope, that's not. Oh yeah, right. It's alpha is transparency. I was trying to make a transparent object in Blender before, and that really fucked me a little bit. At least when I was trying to make it. Principal PDF, diffusion, glossy. Nope. Ah.
I know that's not clear. It will become clear when I show you nodes. But when I click this, you get this slide out menu with a bunch of different options here. And the one that I'm looking for says image texture. Okay, so now I can hit open. And just to demonstrate this, I'm going to select a wood texture that I downloaded off the internet just to show you how this works. Now, on this note, if you happen to see this, if you use an image texture that you find online, it's because there is a new feature. There's a purpose. There's a new feature in Blender 5.0 where if it identifies in the name anything from the number 1000 to 2000, I think, it'll think that is a UDIM, which is a completely whole, production professional workflow kind of thing. It'll think it's a UDIM. And anyways, what you need to do is then change this to single image. But most of the time, most images, if it doesn't have those numbers, a string at the end, it should just load in fine. Anyways,
Hold up, I just fucked myself because I changed the I just changed material for everything. All right, wasn't it like shift something like shift and nope. Was it control? No. Fuck it, just do it one by one. Doesn't matter. Why is it gray? I mean, I know I added like metallic sheen to it, but like hold up, what if I just check this one? Roughness, error, metallic 0. Diffuse, Okay.
let's say you had an image like this. You wanted the table to look wood, right? We're not going to do that, but just to show you, you would see it's okay, right? But there is no bump information, okay? And that is because, of course, the 3D software doesn't know that there's supposed to be crevices here, right? Little
Alright, hold up, before that. Whoop. Wood. Why not? Save images. Desktop. Save. Boop.
dips in between the tables.
And then this one. Hold up.
Table, it'll think that is a UDIM, which is a 1000. You happen to see this if you use an image texture that you find online, it's because there is a new feature. There's a purpose. There's a new feature in Blender 5.0 where if it identifies in the name
Wait, what do you press?
UDIM,
Hold up.
completely. So this is Blender. It can do 3D
Fuck.
modeling, texturing, lighting, shading. But this, by the way, there is another rendering engine if you want. And anyways.
Oh right. This what it was, right.
Slide out menu with a bunch of different options here. And the one that I'm looking for says image.
Yep. Wait, what if I put brick texture? Oh shit. That's funny. Image texture. Open. Okay, you can see what. Okay, desktop. Up, I gotta double check because some stuff I keep on my. Oh, it's literally labeled Shiplap Natural something. Okay. Now let's see what our
texture.
Blender
Okay, so now
Grower
I can
tells
hit
next.
open. And just to demonstrate this, I'm going to select a wood texture that I downloaded off the internet just to show you how this works. Now, on this note, if you happen to see this, if you use an image texture that you find online, it's because there is a new feature. There's a purpose. There's a new feature in Blender 5.0 where if it identifies in the name anything from the number 1000 to 2000, I think, it'll think that is a UDIM, which is a completely whole, production, professional workflow kind of thing. It'll think it's a UDIM. And anyways, what you need to do is then change this to single image. But most of the time, most images, if it doesn't have those numbers, a string at the end, it should just load in fine. Anyways, let's say you had an image like this. You wanted the table to look wood, right? We're not going to do that, but just to show you. You would see it's okay, right? But there is no bump information, okay? And that is because, of course, the 3D software doesn't know that there's supposed to be crevices here, right? Little dips in between the table, the fine tooth grain of it. It has no idea because it's just taken with a single camera. It would have no idea how to guess what that true information should be. I mean, there is technically a way to guess it, but it never really turns out well. So I'm not even going to bother showing you. So most of the time, when you're talking about texturing in 3D and using image textures, like textures from the real world, you don't just grab a random image texture that you find online. You need to use PBR textures, which stands for physically based rendering textures. There are many different places that you can get PBR textures from. The best website that I think is Polygon, POLIIGON.com.
Okay, let's follow it. Polygon.com. Did I spell it right? I don't think I spelled it right. I have too many tabs open. No, I did spell it right. Huh?
Is below.
Oh, double I. Okay. What? Why would you name the website something that like already exists like this? I just want to know the pricing, I guess. Limited selection of free texture models. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Excuse me? Trusted by teams creating the 3D content you know and love. Canva, I know. Nvidia makes sense. Airbnb, IKEA, Meta makes sense. Starbucks, Sony makes sense. Sony makes sense. Ooh. So just regular wood. Wood logs. View pricing. Oh, again, yeah, this one. Download premium assets with unlimited plan. Pretty dope. Maybe I'm gonna end up using this sometime later.
And I think it's the best website because it's my website. It's my company, which I created 10 years ago.
Wait, what? It was your company all along. Oh, you bastard. Unbelievable. He sold me on this as well. Holy shit.
The fastest growing texture library online. So we've got photographers all over the world, and they use specialized equipment to go out into the world and they capture surfaces, usually like photograph the surface like hundreds of times, which is what enables you to actually capture all of that height information, the bump, the shininess, reflectiveness of materials, and actually capture all of the maps that you can see here, for example. These weird looking maps is exactly what Blender needs
That's
to,
interesting.
To make the material look realistic. So we've got a bunch of different categories, obviously, like almost anything you want to create.
I'm curious. So like that's not something I would be doing now, but I'm curious if there is like a project for like how to create these textures by yourself at home, you know? As he said, like, oh, you need to like photograph multiple times. Is there like a chance I can like photograph a texture, I've photographed like my table 10,000 times, and it's like, oh, exactly like
create,
a.
you can find the textures on here. But for just this tutorial, if you go to polygon.com/donut, the link for that is also below. But this has the 6 textures that you'll actually need to follow along for this video. They're all free. We've made them free. All you need to do is get a free account, and you can download all of those by just clicking them and then hitting download. And also, if you
Okay.
scroll down, we've got some premium textures here if you have a subscription with us that you could use for the cafe scene that we're making to kind of spruce it up, make it your own, add some variation there. So we've included some ones here that go well with the scene. And if you use this link, you'll get 10% off any plan you choose. So the first texture I want you to start with is going to be our cafe table. And obviously you could use any text for that. You could use some of the ones down there.
Okay, so is the next steps of tutorial just like applying textures the entire time?
But I want you to start with this one, this concrete texture, because we're going to make this like a concrete texture, something that cafes can sometimes have. And we actually have a Blender add-on which makes downloading and importing these things even simpler. But I want to give you the traditional way to import PBR textures first, so that you know how to use PBR textures just flat, and then I want to show you the easy way after. So once you've got your free account, you can come back here and you can click on download this big download button. So that'll give you an 8K texture. You probably don't need it, you probably get by with 4, but I'm going to get the 8K just to show you how it looks. And this will download a zip file like here. Okay, so it should be fairly quick. It's about 289 megs. Once you've downloaded this texture, I need you to unzip it. So with Windows, you just right click and go extract all. If you're on a Mac, you just double click it and it should just unzip itself. Now that I've got that, you can see you've got like a preview image there. Don't worry about that. It's the stuff that's in here. This is the good stuff. This is the one we actually need to use. So I'm going to just copy this folder location and then back in Blender for my selected plane here underneath the base color. I'm just going to just like before, select image texture if you haven't already. Then I'm going to click open, and then a lot of these images look pretty similar. There's very little detail across them. There is some, but the one we're looking for is underscore base color. So that's the one we're going to start with. Okay, so this has given us a nice, clean, de-lit concrete floor texture, but the same problem, we don't have that height information there. And that's because just like before, we only loaded in information into the base color. So it's almost like this has been printed on cardboard. That's kind of the appearance there. So we need to load in the other PBR texture maps. They're called all those different images that we downloaded. And we could, import and do the same way, like click this little dot and go image texture. But it's very fiddly. And this view here, you can probably tell is like it's not designed for like complex texturing work. If you want to do complex texturing work, you should click on the shading tab at the top of your screen. Now this view looks completely different. You've got a 3D at the top. You've got these nodes here, which are very useful. And then you've got 2 over here that I think are kind of pointless. I don't really think they should be here. I never really want them. So I'm going to right click on the divider between these windows here. I'm going to say join left, and then I'm going to do the same for the bottom, join left. And then I want to flip it because I don't really like having like the top view on this. It's like it's too widescreen to like look at things like this. So instead I'm going to right click this, say join down, and then at the top of my screen, at the top of the little divider there, until I get that little arrows, I'm going to right click and I'm going to say vertical split. And then to make this one on the right hand side, those same shading nodes that we had before.
Okay, I think this part of tutorial needs to be for the next time when I get the I'm saving this for later. Okay. This part of tutorial gonna be for when we're essentially
The Count of Monte Cristo.
essentially this part of the tutorial will be for when we come back. Well, we gotta come back with unwrapping, learn it later because I like if I need to like log into account and everything, I would much rather download before the stream.
Okay, imagine this.
Making good topology for your 3D character is important, but not as difficult as you may think. Topology refers to the layout of vertices and faces on a 3D model. In other words, the topology guides the flow of edges on your model, such as when you make loop cuts. It is possible to have 2 identical looking 3D models that have different topologies, but good topology is both easier to work with and produces better shading. More importantly though, having proper topology allows your model to deform more naturally during animations. For example, having good loop structure around the mouth makes it deform much more cleanly when opening and closing. It's also a lot easier to add loop cuts when you want them. You do not need to worry about every part of the model unless you really want to. The important parts include areas that will animate, such as the face, arms, and legs. Faces are constructed using edge loops around the eyes, nose, and mouth like this, so those areas influence more cleanly. For arms and legs, you can greatly improve the bend by making a few cuts to form an elbow or knee shape. Now you should be able to make better topology.
Nice.
If you've ever wanted to learn how to do things like 3D modeling in a 3D software like Blender.
Actually, hold up, not this guy. I want this one.
This is a mine shaft that does not exist. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create your own using 100% free 3D software called Blender. Along the way, you'll learn 3 simple techniques that can be used to create water slides, asteroids, and snowy mountains. So before we take the ride ourselves, let's buckle in and learn some 3D.
I'm ready.
The first technique we'll learn about is curves.
A curve
The guy is flexing, I think, his like modeling skill.
object is a type of object that by itself doesn't actually appear in the final render until you give it geometry.
Okay.
One way to do that is by going to Geometry, Round, and increasing the thickness, which makes this kind of look like a noodle. And if you control right-click around, it's exactly that. Model a bowl around it and you got ramen. Anytime you're watching a movie and you see a rope or a power line, you can pretty much guarantee that the artist just added a curve and gave it some thickness. And if you want some more complex rope, you could create a new curve object, form it into a different shape, then on the previous curve, change it from round to object and assign your new curve. Now, if you twist these handles, we've got a Twizzler. Or you could make a shape of 3 circles and now it's an intertwined rope.
But what if you need something really detailed, like say a railroad track? For that, you need to use curve deformation.
First, model anything you want. In this case, I started with a plane, added
Okay, let's go. We add a plane. Wait, rotate X.
some cuts, shaped it, extruded it, and
Ooh, hold up. Hold on a minute. Fuck, I pressed R while it was still in the YouTube, so it like reloaded the entire page. Hold on a second. Okay, plus to make it larger, then I would do a Z.
added some cuts, shaped
Fuck! Why is it whenever I switch between
This is a
I assumed I like switched the thing. Whoop.
rope or a power line, some and you can and then added an errata with a
Okay. Have to constantly press Blender to ensure. Whoop.
plane, added some cuts, shaped it, extruded.
Nope. Come on. I don't even. Cancel out this one. Good enough.
It and then added an array modifier to make those segments repeat. And finally check merge so they
And then array modifier, he says. There it is. Okay, so instead of X axis, it would be Z axis. Like this. And then you can increase the count by as much as you want. Okay, next.
joint. Then after that, add a
Wait, what is it?
cuts, shaped it, extruded it, and then added an array modifier to make those segments repeat. And finally check merge so they're joint. Then after that, add a segments repeat. And finally check merge so they're joint. Then after that, add a curve modifier and select the curve object. Now our array
Didn't really merge. Maybe it's my fault somehow. Is they're just not straight enough? No, they are merging, kind of. I mean, hold up. Is this fucking thing straight even? Looks like it. No, it's definitely slightly off. Hold up. Oh, this is funny. Wait, how do I stop this now? I don't know what the fuck I did. Hold up. Okay, I just want to see if I made it straight enough so that's not. What the fuck? 0, 0. Okay. Yeah, this is what I want to see. If it's like I think it's slightly off. Nope, that would definitely not help. Why not? And extrude and is it fucking straight now? Okay, now you can offset on y-axis by 1. What? Why? I thought I said offset by y-axis. What the fuck happened? Um. There it is. It's still slightly off, right? There it is. This is now perfect. Are you perfect? Tell me. You see, the larger I make it, the more I see the fact that it's fucked. Why is it fucked? Excuse me? What is this? Hold up. I can't believe how long I'm stuck on this because I'm just like, why is it off center? Why is it fucked? Why is it like this? Why are you like this? Tell me. What am I doing wrong? Why is it slightly rising with every step? Fuck it.
Rail will curve.
So
First,
he
model
doing?
anything you want. In this case, I started with a plane, added some cuts, shaped it, extruded it, and then added an array modifier to make those segments repeat. And finally check merge so they're joined. Then after that, add a curve modifier and select the curve object. Now our rail will bend to the exact shape of the curve. And if we set the array amount to fit the curve, it'll now infinitely generate as
Wait, hold up.
object. Now to make those segments repeat. And finally check merge so they're joined. Then after that,
So if we get out of here, right? Add curve. I don't know why it has that name to it. Okay, I don't know how to edit curves yet. Let's come back to this object. Curve, and then
add a curve modifier and select the curve object. Now our rail will bend to the exact shape of the curve. And if we set the array amount to fit the curve, it'll now infinitely
what happened? There it is.
generate as we add new points. Now since we need two rails, go into edit.
Number one, it's off somehow. I'm not even sure how to ask that. Oh, okay, that's why, because I had two parts of it. One was fit to curve, and another was like modifier heal already in array, which was like a curve, and the other was fit. And the other was like modifier deform to curve. That's why it was weird.
Edit mode, move our rail to one side of the origin point.
What was it?
To fit the curve, it'll now infinitely generate as we add new points. Now since we need two rails, go into edit mode, move our rail to one side of the origin point, then add a mirror modifier and place it before the array. And now we need wooden plank curve, it'll now infinitely generate as we add new points. Now since we need two rails, go into edit mode, move our rail to one side of the origin point, then add a mirror modifier and place it before the array. And now we need wooden planks to tie the rail together. And thankfully we can copy everything we did. Just shift select the rail, press Ctrl.
Wait, hold up. That didn't work. Wait, Shift D. I have two of them. Nope. That absolutely didn't work. What the fuck? Hold up.
Control before we add an array modifier to make those segments repeat.
Yes.
And finally check merge so they're joined.
Yes.
Then after that, add a curve modifier and select the curve object. Now our rail will bend to the exact shape of the curve. And if we set the array amount to fit the curve, it'll now infinitely generate as we add new points. Now since we need two rails, go into edit mode, move
Okay, I don't know what exactly the problem is. Oh, it's not even like fucking working properly. Okay, hold up. I just realized because it's deformed in the wrong way. Uh-huh. Okay, hold up. Y-axis, Z-axis? Well, that's kind of the opposite of how I wanted to look. Oh, and now that does create a second. Now it does create a second second line. The only problem is for some reason, absolutely unknown to me, it's upside down. If I rotate this on the axis, right? What would happen? Oh, and now it looks perfect. Kind of. It's still very I don't know how to still say it. Not slick, I guess. Hey, William. I mean, no need to apologize. You're just ooh, I think I'm increasing too much. No need to apologize. You can do whatever you like with your free time. Just glad that you're here. We're just right now trying to solve all of this. Relative space? No. Realize instances? No. Per curve? Not that either. That's not it either. Why? Oh, wait. That's what it was. Okay, 0 0.1. Oh, 0 0.1. Yeah, okay. Okay, that was the problem. Okay, it needs a little bit fine tuning, but like now at least it looks a little bit more presentable. Kind of. Why does it have teeth now? Why does it have teeth? But we'll work with this for now. You ate what?
Move our rail to one side of the origin point, then add a mirror modifier and place it before the array. And now we
Oh, he just created with a mirror. No, I said teeth. Why does it have teeth now?
need wooden planks to tie the rail together. And thankfully, we can copy everything we did. Just shift select the rail, press Ctrl L, copy modifiers. We don't need the mirror modifier, but we do need to increase this array distance. And now we
Well, what did you do?
wooden planks to tie the rail together. And thankfully, we can copy everything we did.
Add, I guess plane. We're gonna add a plane, edit, just extrude an X. Then, wait, where is the copy modifiers? Nope. Move collection, insert frame. Why can't I just copy modifiers? I don't.
Just shift select the rail, press Control L,
Control L. Copy modifiers. Fuck, I copied the wrong modifiers. Okay, hold up. Okay. Kind of. Next, from plane, we decrease the... I see the problem. That doesn't look that good. That ain't looking so hot. Why the fuck does it look like that? Why is it that I'm following the simplest tutorial and that doesn't work? Well, you could kind of work with this, I think. Or, wait. Nope. 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 So yeah, I guess you do need to rotate this. Control Y. It's off. It's so fucked. Why is it so fucked? Can somebody explain to me what exactly I did wrong? X. Oh, following a
copy
simple
modifiers. We don't
tutorial.
need the mirror modifier, but we do need to increase this array distance. And
Well, mostly because his curve is on the flat ground.
now we have staggered wooden planks tying our rail together. And we can repeat this same process to make support beams that appear intermittently along the track. And then of course, the mine shaft, which is copied in the exact same process. Curve deformations are a surprisingly useful technique that can be used to create water slides.
I mean, I get how it works. I just don't know why, while I was following the tutorial, none of this fucking worked. Why it looks so like trash.
Roller coasters, or even Christmas lights. But if you think that's cool, wait until you see we combine it with our next technique, displacements. Displacement just means pushing or pulling the vertices from a starting position according to values, and those values are defined by a texture. So a lighter value will push the points out, and a darker value will pull them in. What this means is you can use any texture to add free detail to a surface. And one of the first commercial uses for this technique was A Bug's Life, where it was used
No fucking way it was using Bug's Life.
extensively on the pebbled ground surface. All the artist did here was make a simple smooth surface, then apply a pebble texture to make the pebbles pop out of the ground.
That's insane.
There's two ways to add displacement in Blender, and we're actually going to use both. First, add a displacement model.
Okay, hold up. Let's try it from the ground up. We're gonna shift select all of this. Okay. Delete. Now, star and simple, we add the curve, right? I don't know what the fuck Bezier curve is. Just give me a random fucking curve. Okay, we made a simple curve. Okay. Next, we're doing rails. To do rails, we're doing add mesh plane, right? Rotate on Y. Okay. Let's not overthink. Well, should I overthink it? Let's just make it simple as fuck. Extrude here. Okay. Add modifier. Generate array, right? On the curve. Curve select nums curve. Okay. Fail up. How did you change the Oh, tab. No. That wasn't it. I forgot how to change the setting for select. We just studied last week. Come on. Can't remember. Nope. Why is this like this? Wait, what if I instead of array, because there was another option. Generate array legacy. Wait a minute. Add modifier. I think I think I should have just pressed the array legacy, and that's the solution. Because clearly array legacy is unless I'm wrong. Unless I'm wrong about this, I'm pretty sure it's array legacy.
To add for this technique,
Hold up.
Asteroids is curves.
a curve object is a type increasing the thickness, which makes this kind of lit and pretty much guarantee that the artist just change it from round to object and assign your new curve. Now, if you twist these handles, we've got a Twizzler. Or you could make a shape or
You need
an array modifier to make those segments repeat. And finally check merge so they're joined. Then after that, add a curve modifier and select the curve object. Now our rail will bend to the exact shape of the curve. And if we set the array amount to fit the curve, it'll now infinitely generate as we add new points.
Maybe not. Hold up. What if I change the order of this thing. Nope, that doesn't help.
Now, since we need 2 rails, go into edit mode, move our rail to one side of the origin point, then add.
Why does it not want to fit the curve though? What am I misunderstanding? Nope, not that either. Okay, but why is it all fucked? Well, why does it why is it why is it flipped like this? Oh, there it is. Just select the line rotation. Oh, interesting. Now it's on the relative distances. Huh.
A mirror modifier and place it before the array. And now we need wooden planks to tie the rail together. And thankfully we can copy everything we did. Just shift select the rail, press Ctrl L, copy modifiers. We don't need the mirror modifier.
Wait, hold up. Additionally, he said mirror, add modifier, mirror modifier. Where is it? Mirror, there it is. Mirror on the. I think this would be y-axis. There, nope. Not on z-axis. The y-axis is going completely different. Wait, no, that's not it. I mean, if you move it this way instead, right? So it takes precedent. Uh-huh. Yeah, I was right. Kind of. Not really. The rails intersect now. How do I fix that? How do I solve this? What am I doing wrong? Like I legitimately need help. Somebody, please. Don't merge. Um. What am I doing wrong? Feel like I'm losing my mind because I have genuinely no idea what I'm doing wrong. Hold up. We did twice. We tried it twice from the ground up. Nope. Okay, starting from the ground up again. Okay.
Bowl around it, and you got ramen. Guarantee that the artist create a new curve object to object and assign your new curve. Now, if you twist these handles, we've got a Twizzler. Or you could make a shape of 3 circles, and now it's an intertwined rope.
But what if you need something really detailed, like say a railroad track? For that, you need to use curve deformation.
First, model anything you want. In this case, I started with a plane, added some cuts, shaped it, extruded it, and then added an array modifier to make those segments repeat. And finally check merge so they're joined. Then after that, add a curve modifier and select the curve object.
Okay. Add fucking basic curve, I guess. I don't know. Okay, then we add plane again. Again, we're trying once again. Hold up. Let's say that's gonna be our rail, right? Then we add modifier, generate array, right? 0 in x-axis. Nope, not that either. Okay. Line, curve, right? Curve to objects, this curve specifically. Align rotation off. Okay. We offset it, right? And then add modifier, generate mirror, right? Mirror on the y-axis. No, why is it?
Now our rail will bend to the exact shape of the curve.
Okay.
And if we set the array amount to fit the curve, it'll now infinitely generate as we add new points. Now, since we need 2 rails,
Yeah, I feel like this isn't. He's using the older array legacy. Hold on, generate array legacy. Then face count, fit curve, and the curve this pass, right? Nope. And then add another modifier, deform curve, right? Then we select this curve. Okay. Yeah, but this doesn't work. Why?
exact shape of the curve object. Now our rail will bend to the exact shape of the curve. And if we set the array amount to fit the curve, it'll now infinitely generate as we add new points.
What even happened? Okay, now it's. I think now it's working. Yep, there it is. Okay, I don't know if all my struggle was necessary or if it was just me because like I didn't exit the edit mode. Maybe if I like exited the edit mode sooner, I would have seen that everything just worked out. But now it's all working. Okay, beautiful.
Now, since we need 2 rails, go into edit mode, move our rail to one side of the origin point, then add a mirror modifier and place it before the array. And now we need wooden planks to tie the rail together. And thankfully, we can copy everything we did. Just shift select the rail, press Ctrl L, copy modifiers. We don't need the mirror modifier, but we do need to increase this array distance. And now we have staggered wooden planks tying our rail together. And we can repeat this same process.
Hold up. So on this one, we remove the mirror. Metry it would require. What do you mean the offset is too small? Fit the curve, right? The curve is Nurbis pass still. Oh, there it is. Okay, the wooden planks is working. Okay, beautiful.
Process to make support beams that appear intermittently along the track. And then, of course, the mine shaft, which is copied in the exact same process. Curve deformations are a surprise.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so in that sense, if we add, for example, a circle, right? Make it large or circle like this. Kind of. Nope. In the opposite actually. Control L, copy modifiers. Um. Oh, wrong thing. Okay, but why is it why is it like this? Why is it like that and not like this? Why does it not behave the same way? What the fuck is going on? And just 0, 0, right? Wrong direction, I guess. Again, wrong direction, and I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. Oops, it's a wrong thing. Oop. What the fuck is going on? Legitimately, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the fuck's happening. Somebody, please explain how I'm fucking up. What the fuck? What's going on? Why does it look like this? Why is it wrong? And anyway, in shape or form, I slice it. What the fuck? Excuse me, dog. What if I -1 this? Nope. What if -1 this? Nope. Why? What the fuck is happening? Legitimately, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Wait. Fuck. Nope. Wait. Well, if I remove relative offset, constant offset. Wait. Nope. Legitimately, what the fuck is going on? Why are you so fucked? What kind of angry gods did I meddle with for it to be so fucked? Excuse me? How is it that everything worked fine up until I introduced a fucking circle?
surprisingly useful technique that can be used to create water slides, roller coasters, or even Christmas lights. But if you think that's cool, wait until you see we combine it with our next technique, displacements.
Displacement just means pushing or pulling the vertices from a starting position according to values, and those values are defined by a texture. So a lighter value will push the points out, and a darker value will pull them in. What this means is you can use any texture to add free detail to a surface. And one of the first commercial uses for this technique was A Bug's Life, where it was used extensively on the pebbled ground surface. All the artist did here was make a simple smooth surface, then apply a pebble texture to make the pebbles pop out of the ground. There's two ways to add displacement in Blender, and we're actually going to use both. First, add a displacement modifier, then click New. Now click on Textures, and then from the drop-down, we can choose the type of texture to apply. Let's start with Clouds and set the type to Voronoi. And since it can only work with the amount of vertices in the mesh, we also need to add a subsurf.
Hold up, can you shut the fuck up for a second? I'm trying to figure out how you did the magic beforehand. Why is it? Why? Why? What's happening here? No, legitimately, what's going on? What's popping? Okay, that kind of aligns with what we were looking for. Okay, finally. Fuck, what did I even do? I don't know what the fuck I did. So relative offset 0.8. Okay, then in edit mode we can expand and kind of increase this in size. It's supposed to be a fucking tunnel, right? Yeah, that's relatively speaking, this is okay. I know what the fuck's going on here. Wait. Yeah, we kind of get our tunnel. Well, our tunnel kind of working. Okay.
Modifier positioned just after the curve. And first, add a displacement modifier, then click New.
Add displacement, huh? Yeah, I'm just gonna search it up. This place. Wait. Do I need to like search in the modifiers? Okay. This place.
New. Now click on Textures, and then from the drop-down, we can choose the type of texture to apply.
Didn't you get this?
And we're actually going to use both. First, add a displacement modifier, then click New. Now click on Textures.
There it is. Right.
And then from the drop-down, we can choose the type of texture to apply. Let's start with Clouds and set the type to Voronoi. And since it can only work with the amount of vertices in the mesh, we also need to add a subsurf modifier positioned.
Okay, we can do that. That one we even learned in last tutorial. So it's a subdivision subsurface.
Just after the curve modifier. Then back at the texture, increase the scale value till you get something that looks like a lumpy cave.
Whoop. Honestly, none of it looks like a lumpy cave, and I mean, it looks like it's like you put your dick in it and it's gonna get shredded. Um,
Now texture ink modifier positioned just after the curve modifier. Then back at the texture,
he's back at the texture. Okay.
increase the scale value to
I have no idea what I'm doing, and this looks horrifying.
get something that looks like a lumpy cave.
Oh yeah, it is. It does get closer and closer to a cave the more we increase the size. But make it 3. Oh, 3 is a little bit. Oh, I did 30. Okay, so 3. Still looks a little bit terrifying. What 4? 4 is slightly better. Oh yeah, just there is no texture in this.
Now, if we increase the detail, you can see we're getting more shapes, but it doesn't look realistic. And that's because this texture that we're using is procedural. And procedural textures are powerful, but they're typically used in conjunction with image textures. So we need to use this with an image texture, but not just any image texture. Because remember that displacement will push or pull the rock out of the surface according to the light or dark parts of the image. So what we need is a special type of texture used exclusively for 3D called PBR textures. A PBR texture is created using specialized equipment to accurately capture height, color.
And here he advertises his own website where he makes these fucking cool textures. Okay, I see where you're going with it. I see where you're going with it, man. Okay. I respect the grind, I respect the hustle. Actually does look relatively alright now. And see, in theory we can keep extruding this curve to keep getting it does take a while from our PC to figure out to like do this in real time, but in theory we can just do this now. Interesting.
color, glossiness. Change the mapping type to cube, then set bump to displacement and bump. And finally, in the shader tab, connect it to object coordinates to match the curve. And find the mapping download Blender Guru, and because then set bump to displacement coordinates to realistic mineshaft. Textures.
This is the asteroid. And if you think that's cool, wait until you see it combined with our next technique, masking.
So the walls of our mineshaft are jagged rock, but the floor needs to be gravel. Now, a lazy way to do this would be to just select the floor, add a new material, apply it to the floor, and slap on a texture. But you can see this creates a sharp, ugly separation line. So what we need instead is a mask. In its simplest form, a mask just defines which parts will receive material.
I did like this one. I'm not gonna be doing because like I don't want to right now do like the entire like making the account and logging in and like downloading the textures. But by the next stream, we're definitely gonna be doing this. What I'm more curious about is just seeing behind the process.
Material A and which parts will receive material B. And this is all done in your shader nodes. So if you have two shaders like this, you can combine them with a mix shader. Now, if we set this value to 0, we're getting all of shader A. If we set it to 1, we're getting all of shader B. But if we add a black and white texture into that input, it's now acting as a mask between the two. A mask is one of the most versatile techniques of 3D, and it's used constantly in movies and games to create variations across surfaces. For example, you could blend between dirt and leaves to paint a dirt pathway weaving through the woods. But a mask doesn't just have to be an image texture, it could be any property of a mesh used by the 3D software. So for example, if you have a landscape, you could add in a geometry node, take the normal data, separate it out so the faces are pointing upwards, and then feed that through a color ramp node fed into the mix shader. And now I've got a slider that decides how much snow is built up on my mountain. Masking is an extremely versatile skill, and we're going to use it for our floor using vertex painting. In this mode, I can paint white directly onto these vertices of my mesh slice to mask out that area. Now, by default, Blender will save this as a color attribute simply called attribute, but I'm going to rename it floor. Now, to add this to my shader, I go back to my shader nodes.
I don't know why, but I'm so tired right now.
Add an attribute node, and then type in the word floor. Connect the factor value into the mix shader. And you can see I've got the right material on the floor, but if I re-enable large scale displacement, I've got large wavy shapes on my floor. To fix this, I need to create the same mask but in weight paint mode. Then on my displacement modifier in the vertex group, select that and then hit invert to omit the floor. And in
Hold up, I'm gonna grab some water. Jesus Christ. Ugh. Maybe I'm tired because right before the stream I had a relatively large meal. I just had bunch of fried rice, some pork belly, you know, and just makes me tired digesting all this.
Blender, shaders don't inherit the displacement. So getting the rock floor to inherit the correct displacement means adding a separate mix node just to combine the two displacements controlled by that same mask attribute we created before. And that's it. At this stage, we have enough to create a spooky cave walkthrough if we use fly mode. But to make the camera follow the track realistically, my team created a geometry node setup that simulates gravity and inertia along the curve, which is what gives us that dynamic motion that follows the actual curve without any extra work on keyframing. If you want that setup, just click the link below and you can download it. And this is where the fun begins, because you can now play with the shape of the mine shaft, creating huge drops, tight turns, and quickly iterate to create something that's fun to watch.
So, with a little bit of effort and a little bit of creativity, here is the final mine shaft.
Actually, I wonder if the reason it takes so much from me to make this like for me to run this is because like I'm having like very inefficient geometry or something, you know. If I make this larger, for example, will it decrease the, because like right now what my PC is like generating is all of this, right? And if I just increase it in size, like essentially it has to do math every time it has like is generate this. So if I just increase this in size like this, and then in modifier I need to just decrease. Whoop. .50, I guess. No, that increases it in the other side. Oh, but then it doesn't deform as well because this is just too large. That's why. Yeah, now it kind of just looks like a spaghetti. Okay, now I see what my problem was. 0.1. You do need to have increasing it in size that way was irresponsible of me. I'm sorry. Oop. It needs to be, I assume the tunnel needs to be as big as essentially as wide as like any other part of the mesh. And my tunnel was just a little bit too wide. I might actually just need to like decrease it fully then. Ooh, spooky tunnel, spooky tunnel. This does look very good. Oh. Pretty cool. No. No. What? I don't want too many hashtags there. Okay, I am curious, but that's gonna be something I'm gonna check out off stream, I think. Oop, that's not this guy.
All right, so here's a pro blender tip that took me way too long to figure out. So say you got a
Wear thigh-high socks. It makes you so much better.
big scene like this, right? And you've got lots of objects and they've all got like a bevel modifier. And you've decided that you want to adjust the bevel amount, right? Make it look more cutesy, so you want to increase it. It's only going to change the last selected object. What you can do instead, this is a hidden feature, is as you go to change a value, if you hold down Alt and then move the value, all of the objects that have a bevel will now have that value altered. But you can do more than that. You could also delete a modifier from everything that has that modifier. Like I don't want weighted normal. I can hold down Alt and then hit X.
Alt? Because before he said like, oh, if you just called Shift was everything. I think yeah, Alt makes sense. Okay. Good tip.
Everything with that modifier is now deleted. I could also add a modifier. Go add normals, and then before I click it, if I hold down Alt, it'll now add that modifier to every object. So Alt, hidden feature in Blender.
Oh yeah, it modifies fucking everything. Oh fuck! No, no. I'm not watching. I'm not watching Creepcast right now. 2.7. Oh fuck! And now it's modified. Hold up. Alt. We're so close to. Oh, we're back to normal. 2.7 exactly. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's a good feature. We figured it out.
Blender, for example, this tutorial is aimed at absolute beginners, by which I mean I'm going to be approaching it from the perspective of somebody that's never even opened up Blender. I'm going to be showing you how to move around, how the basic navigational things work, and the goal of this tutorial is to show you how to get started with modeling your first ever object. In this case,
Downloading.
really
Wait, hold up. Downloading Blender. Moving around. Jesus Christ. Adding geometry. Upper body. Subdivision surface modifier. Okay, I don't need to watch this. We can just recreate everything that he did right now. Hold up. First, add mesh cube, right? I assume that's what he started with. We started with a cube. Where the fuck is our cube? There it is. Our cube. Tab, edit mode. Okay. Gonna make him a little bit taller. Okay, a little bit baller. Give him a rabbit with a bat and a hat. Actually, hold up. That's wrong. I would do this before, but now I know just actually make proper geometry because it will fuck you a little bit. Oh, nope. I didn't want 9. Hold up. Okay. Okay. We're gonna press E. I don't think that's how he did it, but that's how I'm gonna be doing it. No wait, fuck. Okay. Good enough. Okay, another E and oop. Ah. E Y E oop S Y. Okay. Wait, hold up. I'll select all of this. Oop. Select all of this as well. Actually, I could have done this one simpler. I could have just divided this later. Damn, my bad. I'll scrap all this. Actually, scrap all of it fully. Just back to the basics. Add mesh cube, right? From cube we're gonna go here. Damn, why am I so fucking sleepy right now? Holy shit. Edit. Gonna S Y, no, SZ. Oop. Okay. um. We go like this. It's about the same size. No, 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 actually, hold up. Is it? I think bevel works for this. What is the? It's Control V. No, V. Just some. No. What was the tool to separate it cleanly like this? There is some tool that I don't remember. I don't remember because I'm super fucking tired right now. That's not it. Hold up. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. I might need to Google it because I don't remember. My mind right now is blank. Oh, there it is. Hmm. There it is. Kind of. By the way, Mouse PI actually did come out, and it's an actual game. To my surprise, I was very much not expecting it because the company itself, I mean, it felt just so shady in comparison. Okay, now we got our legs. Okay, this is a basic body. And we can oh, generate. It's a to subdivide subsurface. Yes, there it is. Okay. Okay. Hold up. If we SX this one to make it a little bit thinner. You also can kind of just, oh, not always selected. Now I can see it. Yeah. If we bring up the shoulders a little bit. That really adds a unique character to this guy. Look at him. Got big, strong, broad shoulders, tiny arms, small. Like, doesn't this look like a unique character? He has so much personality. Wait. Nice little guy. Little fella. Anyway, we're gonna be removing the you can't do it in the edit mode, you have to do it directly in yeah, apply. There it is. That has massive fucked up geometry. Look at this. Beautiful. My boy.
Really basic little character here. It's not fancy or and you can select these chest vertices here and just move them to flatten them out a bit, just so the chest isn't as pointy at the front. So just like that, you can also select the vertex at the back and just move them in. The ones on the shoulder here, you can also move it in. The arm itself should not be sitting too forward in the body. In fact, an easy way to solve this is just to go Shift Alt, click on an edge down here to loop selected, go Control plus, and grow the selection until the whole arm is active. So that should be enough. And so just make sure it's only these here that are selected, the arm. Go to your thing here called proportional editing. So if you click on that, you can now go G while you move it back.
Yeah.
And if you roll your middle mouse button while you're doing that, you can control the fall off, so how much goes along with it. So we're going to roll the middle mouse button until it's quite small, and we're only going to move the arm back on the Y, just a little bit like that. So once again, I just hit G, Y to move it along the Y. So just back a little bit. You can go into your right graphic view by hitting free, and you can actually see the arm doesn't need to be in the middle, just a little bit back, like that. And what we can also do is just select this vert down here.
There is so many character modeling tutorials for the Blender. It looks like almost everybody wants to do a character model, which makes sense. Delete my boy.
And just bring that in a bit. It doesn't need to be here. Once again, we can go to the modifier tab, and now on top of this modifier here, let's go down, click on it. Go to the right, let's add a subdivision surface modifier. What the subdivision surface modifier does essentially, it just subdivides each face, and it's something that you can turn on and off. And you can also come here to the viewport level and increase that. Everything on here is actually just, I've clicked on that now. We're still seeing this cape. If you want that to kind of hug against that model, like so, just do the exact select here, off, find the shape of your one and powerful tool to them in a bit. Just come over here to your leg, G, and just move, hit Z, go to wireframe, go to vertex select, and then just click and select these one verts and go G, bit of a bend in the legs there. Just kind of made a figure. Your model with no like big features, it's just getting the main proportions established. So what we can do now if we want to make some very basic hands is we can simply just go to our face select, and just select this face down here. And with that active, we're going to hit G and just move it in a little bit. I'm in my front orthographic view. And then just E to extrude it a little bit more. And then I'm going to come over here, over this edge here, and go Control R, click twice, and then double G just to slide it up a bit. Then I'm going to go to my face select, and I'm going to select this face right here. Then I'm going to go to my right orthographic view, and I'm going to go R to rotate, and then G to move it forward a bit. Then I'm going to go E to extrude.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think I watched this video before. I watched this video early on when I was still when I just learned making Blender models. I watched this actual video, and I was following it, and I was like, oh, interesting.
Like so, and E to extrude one more time. And then I'm going to disable proportional editing. And with that face active, I'm just going to go Control plus, and then I'm going to go S, X, I'm just going to scale that down a bit. Just to make a very, very simple looking thumb. We can select this face here.
And this is a really old video, right? No, 4 years ago.
Y, just move back a bit. And then you come over this edge.
Maybe it was a different video.
Control R, click twice, double G to slide down to here, and then S just to scale it. Like that, just create a basic wrist. So this is a very, very simple character. You can just select edges anytime you want. G to move them. So I might want to select this edge here, G to move that. Very, very simple. All I'm doing is with my edge select here, I'm moving around, clicking on edges, and I'm hitting G to move them. Let's hit 1 to go back into our front orthographic view. And here you can see we have the basic character done. So I'm just going to go back into object mode over here. So go into object mode. You can also hit the tab key as a shortcut to do that. And at the moment, it's not looking very smooth. So with this cube still active, we're going to go to object mode up here. And we're going to go shade smooth. So now we have nice smooth shading on here. And if you want this guy, for example, in object mode, if I were to hit R to rotate him, you can see it's actually rotating around this point here, which is what we call an origin point. But what we wanted that origin point to be is at the bottom of the feet. Quick way to do that is just tab into edit mode, hit A to select everything, and then go G, Z, and just move it up till his feet, or where that little orange dot is, or where the floor is. So it should be sitting right on the floor. Then we can go back into object mode, and now if we hit R, you can see he rotates around that origin point. So here now in our scene, we have this character here that's really low poly. So that means there's very few points you actually have to edit when you go into edit mode. But he also has a subdivision surface modifier, which makes him look nice and smooth. So once you've learned these basic extrusion techniques, and also just how to select verts, how to select edges, and how to select faces, and also how to scale them, rotate them, and extrude them, right? Once you've learned that, you can pretty much make anything in a 3D space, and you can also use your subdivision surface modifier. You can at any time come over one of these edges here, hit Control R, click twice, double G to slide, and add in more.
That's nice.
What did you learn after making the donut? Because everyone starts with a donut, but often after
Yes.
finishing it, you just find yourself bouncing from random video to video. You may pick up some useful tips here and there,
Yep.
but there is no structure, which means you waste a lot of time. There's the obvious
Well, actually, this was an argument that I had about essentially art videos. The fact that a lot of art videos have like they'll do like, oh, you want to paint skin, here's like a circle, right? They're gonna be like, here's a circle, here we're gonna like paint like here's how you add like the red, here's how you shade, you know, here's how like like the color scatters from the skin, but then they like don't show it on like an actual person, you know, they don't show it like on the person, they just show it on this ball of meat. And it's like, and it's hard to translate one to another if you like started out, for example, right? There's not a lot of art tutorials that go like step by step of like, we're gonna do this, right? We're gonna do X, and from X we're gonna step into Y, and from Y into Z, and by the end it's gonna look like this picture, right? And in blend tutorials, at the very least, there's gonna be something like, we're gonna be modeling fucking C or whatever, you know, we're gonna be modeling C. So for this lesson, we're gonna learn to do like geometry nodes. We're gonna learn texturing. We're gonna learn procedural generation. You know, we're gonna learn all of this stuff. You know, and learn all of this stuff, and all through one lesson. Yeah, it's a very like you know, it's a very like, you first learn to like make your own human out of cubes, then you learn to make a fucking donuts, then from donut you learn to fucking make water, from water you learn something else. But it's kind of, it builds up skills in terms of like, you memorize what the next step gotta be for what you're doing, right, in Blender. But in art, it's often like, you learn how to you learn the colors for gold, and how to like apply gold colors to a cube, right? But you don't learn how to apply it to a very complex object like a chain. You don't learn it together with like applying color to an armor on a knight, you know, like imagine if like an art lesson was like, today we're going to be painting a knight, right? And then they're like, okay, so for the knight's armor, it's gonna have metallic sheen, so this is how we do metal, you know. And like, you through it, you will learn like to how to make poses for the knight, how to make how to make background, how to make proportions, you know, and you learn like metallic sheen. You learn bunch of stuff, you know. But what you were learning the entire time is to make a knight. So do you get what I mean? Like in the Blender tutorials, you at least like get the satisfaction of like, oh well, through the step of like learning how to make C, I learned how to like utilize many tools under my belt. Versus in art tutorials, it's often like, you learn one thing and one thing only. You don't learn multiple things by making multiple things. It's kind of like when I was learning to cook, during the cooking lesson, they were like, okay, we're gonna learn how to cut, and like through learning how to cut, we also made like a salad, you know. So we cut different shapes with we cut we cut in different shapes. We made sauces, you know. You had like a lot of different you had like amalgamation of multiple different things together. Okay, we're gonna be learning like Italian. Through learning Italian, we're learning to make sauces, well, different kind of sauces from the ones that you have for the salads. You learn to make your homemade pasta. You learn preparation for the dough. You learn the different types of pasta. You learn how long each pasta is cooked, how to like shape all of this pasta together. You know, you learn bunch of stuff, but like what you are learning today is making Italian dishes. You know.
Obvious solution to buy a course, but I have something better, and it's free. I compiled a list of the 36 best tutorials on YouTube that will take you through each of the major disciplines of Blender. My recommendations follow the 80-20 rule. Basically, 80% of your work will be accomplished by 20% of your skill set. So these tutorials focus on helping you master the 20% of your skill set that really matters. And once that's done, you'll be able to choose your specialty, because you'll have a feel for what you like and don't like. For each major skill, I'll recommend 3 different levels of tutorials. That way you'll still be able to learn something even as you become more advanced. I tried to map these out like a course, so that way they build on each other. But this is not perfect. So if you know
I think I'm gonna watch this in a bit later.
Every day
Oh,
about
we finished. We were halfway through watching this guy before I was like, okay, I get time to wrap up.
tutorial
Well, mostly because my internet was not working. But
followed by one related solo project. So for
well, when I was watching this guy, when we stopped watching this guy, he was talking about how like you should start how you should start like using AI, and I was like, ooh, that's a that's an interesting point to stop at. But essentially, what he was talking about is like asking AI for advice, which is not like super terrible. He wasn't asking you to like wipe code, because well, number one, you can't wipe code with 3D models, but like also it was more about like ask for advice, essentially, like similar to how you can ask AI to teach you to code versus asking it to code for
built
you.
up those skill sets, you will waste more hours creating it the wrong way. So I recommend the cadence of following one tutorial followed by one related solo project. So for example, after following the donut, you could close YouTube and try to make something yourself that uses the same skills. For example, plate of cookies or a gingerbread man. It doesn't have to be pastry or bake
We did
related.
season 1.
And then you begin to forget why you're torturing yourself and the internet of
Stay
approve of.
motivated.
If you really like Jurassic insects and the thought of modeling way through page after page of forum chit chat, praying that
There
you
it
stumble
is.
on somebody asking the exact same question. But today, you can ask ChatGPT and get the exact answer you need in seconds. And it is incredible. It's like having a mentor right next to you that you can ask unlimited questions to. But not only is it not expensive,
There is a little bit of problem with asking ChatGPT. It's not related to like something like there's a specific problem with it. It's more about the fact that it's kind of like an inconvenient truth. Asking ChatGPT is very convenient, and because of it, you kind of don't want to go onto forums, and because of that, the forums are dying, and because of that, ChatGPT cannot get more information. It's kind of like I don't want to go shopping for electronics in a local store, because the local store is going to be more expensive than going to Amazon and getting like convenient delivery. Because of that, local stores are dying and have to raise their prices because they have like to like they have to like raise their prices to increase their margins, because otherwise they're gonna like not gonna be profitable. And because of that, I don't want to go to the local stores. You know, it's a very terrible cycle.
it's basically free. What's more, if you access Gemini by going to aistudio.google.com, you can stream what's on your monitor to Gemini while you're working. Then you just take it to your microphone and
No. Yuck. Excuse me? Okay, I thought he had a good advice here, but what the fuck is this?
ask questions like you've got a mentor sitting next to you. Now, AI has a bad name in art circles because there's a big fear of mass job loss. But as an
It's not even about the job loss. In this case, like the Gemini will probably like use your input as like a learn device, which will in turn have like some like it's not a good idea.
educator that is theoretically at risk of losing my job to AI, here's why I think that is wrong. My job is to help you learn Blender, right? And previously that might have been what to click on in what sequence. But now that's at least partly solved. So I and all the teachers of the world should move on to the next thing that students need help with, which is problem solving. So I could focus on tutorials like how I made this type videos or deep dive into new features that haven't been explored yet. There is so much more to teach. So please make use of AI because you will learn Blender so much.
That's actually an interesting outlook. The idea is that because there is this thing. Okay, well, this is kind of like getting into Zizek territory of Okay, if you don't know, there is this guy. Okay, hold on. If you don't know, there is this guy. He's a philosopher. Zizek? Zizek. There it is. That was not it. Oh, let's go. Okay. How do you spell his name? This is fucking English. Zizek. That is this guy, superstar communist Slavoj Zizek with double Z's because he's fucking Polish. Zizek. Slavoj Zizek, Alex Connor, live in London. Why anti-Semitism is partially true? Okay, I'm actually curious. Excuse me.
Anti-Semitism is not false because it presents actual Jews in a wrong light. At this level, we can always argue that it is partially true. Don't be afraid. I'm absolutely not. I don't have any tolerance for anti-Semitism. I'm saying something very precise. Let's say I debate with an anti-Semite. The moment I accept these terms of the debate, okay, let's look at the real Jews. Are they like that or not? I sold my soul to the devil. Let's say I debate with somebody in mid-30s in Germany, and he says, okay, let's look at the fact. He will say, Jews are seducing German girls. What can I say? Probably they do, and it's a good thing they do. Also, he says, many Jews exploit Germans. Well, some of the Jews were rich, and in a formal sense, they were exploiting the Germans. He says Jews have too much influence in literary criticism, in art. Well, there is something for it in statistics. So should we say, no, both sides exaggerate, truth is somewhere in the middle? No. We should say that the whole question is wrong. Okay, we should also debate facts, but anti-Semitism is wrong a priori, formally. The question is not, is what they are saying about the Jews true or not? The question is, why does the Nazi universe need the figure of the Jew to maintain its identity? I'm here repeating, most of you know it, my old joke taken from Lacan when she says, it's a very simple, nice insight, that if we have a pathological husband who is jealous pathologically of his wife's infidelity, suspects her to sleep with other men, and Lacan makes a simple, nice point. Even if all his suspicions are true, wife is all the time sleeping around with other men, his jealousy is nonetheless pathological. Because you know what makes it pathological is not the fact. It's not that it's not true, but it's what constitutive role does jealousy play in his, whatever you call it, psychic identity, and so on and so on. So you see, we have here, let's say, a version of the absolute, this transcendental, in the sense that whatever the facts, and we can play these games. Yes, Jews did have too much influence in journalism, whatever, in banking. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Anti-Semitism is absolutely formally wrong. Again, not because how you compare it with the facts, but with regard to its, I don't know how should I call it, immanent symbolic economy. It's structured to cover up a lie. And as we know today, with the rise of new populism, the most dangerous lies are lies in the guise of truth, where all that you say factually is true, but it's part of a semantic field which is in itself a lie.
Okay, so essentially what he's saying is that wait, do I understand him correct? So essentially so what he's saying, why anti-Semitism is true, is more presented in terms of like, even if all the anti-Semitic theories were true, that Jews control the world, they control the state media, or whatever. Why is it that your entire movement hinges on that specifically? Like everybody else's movement hinges on something different. You're on like different things like equality, freedom, whatever. Yours is specifically hinges on Jews. It's kind of like as he said before, it's kind of like if like a guy is jealous of his wife because he suspects that she's sleeping around, even if it's true that his wife is sleeping around, the problem for the husband isn't necessarily that she's sleeping around, because if it's true, if it's not true, what the real problem is his attitude to be constantly paranoid about the fact that she's sleeping around, even if it's true, if it's not true. So in that sense, like if a Nazi is anti-Semitic and he believes that Jews control the world or whatever, the problem with Nazis isn't the fact that like whether they're right or wrong on that fact. What the problem is simply the fact that how paranoid they are about this being about this fact about this time. Fucking Zizek, Jesus Christ. Yeah, but he has very very unusual sets of beliefs. But like one of them is like essentially he's kind of an absurdist, I guess. I don't know how to say it. He kind of believes the idea of like ultimately society is built on pretenses, right? Again, like back to the Nazi being like Nazis believing that Jews control the world aren't they don't necessarily care about Jews controlling the world. It's more than anything just a pretense to drive out the Jews for whatever reason. You know, they just hate Jews, and they're building up a pretense of like, well, Jews control the world. In the same sense for him, like there's a pretense of human attraction. So in his ideas, there was like an idea of like a perfect date where he could like talk around with a woman, you know, have fun, while in the background their sex toys would fuck each other, because that would fulfill the social contract of them having sex. So like they don't need to like pretend to enjoy sex with each other. They need to they need to instead enjoy time with each other, and sex gonna be like the social pretense, which is an interesting idea, because that's not exactly a common mindset for what sexual relation with people. But he also had like that idea about AI is the fact that so the reason I even bring up Zizek, because this guy was talking about the fact that well, now with AI essentially answering all the questions for you, now my job as an educator is to make you like learn to problem solve specifically. Like have you educated in problem solving, which is also kind of what Zizek said, where essentially on like the idea of AI answering the questions and the AI grading your tests, he essentially said that like universities were like a pretense this entire time. They were like the social constructs that didn't matter, you know? And so ultimately it reached its peak consensus where like you have teacher who makes the questions with AI and grades the answers with AI, and students that answer with AI. So it's two AIs just constantly answering each other's questions, and like everybody drops the pretense of like actually doing the social contract, you know? Which is pretty interesting. And it is a positive outlook from this guy that like, oh, as an educator, it's his job to like teach you problem solving specifically, not teaching you skills that AI can like either teach or replace, but teach you to problem solve, something that AI actually can't do yet. Yet AI is to learn to problem solve for itself. So yeah, that's interesting. Which also, by the way, as far as I know, some people struggle with problem solving for real. Like
much faster if you do. Number 5, stick to reference. One of the biggest wastes of your time is going to be repeating mistakes. And a very common way that people end up repeating mistakes is always creating things from their imagination. And the reason that happens is when you finish, you have no way of knowing how far off the mark you are because there's no ground truth. So the solution is to copy a single reference image, not a group of reference images that's on like a separate monitor, like a vision board. Copy one single reference image one-to-one. And then when you render, you go to your compositor, load that in, and then use the split node or the opacity, whatever, slide it back and forth, and you will see the differences night and day. And when you do this, it just becomes clear what would otherwise take months, potentially years to understand, like how important focal length is, light direction, exposure, materials, lighting, all those little details that you would miss because you're not seeing them that close together. So again, I'd say reference matching is the closest thing to having a free mentor next to you, which is going to reveal exactly what you need to learn next.
this is kind of opposite of that guy that was telling me that a best thing to do is actually to learn to draw, because then you can like create your own references. Kind of funny.
Let's create an ocean in Blender.
Okay, why not? How much time we have? We have 30 minutes. Let's go.
Start by adding a plane and scaling it up, then give it an ocean modifier. Increase the viewport resolution to something your computer can handle.
Hold up. So we create a plane. Actually, why not put this plane in a cup? We have a cup here, and if we put this plane in a cup, right?
Let's create an ocean in Blender. Start by adding a plane and scaling it up, then give it an ocean modifier.
Okay, add modifier. Ocean. Still gonna scale it down.
Increase the viewport resolution to something your computer can handle. Choose a random seat number, and under the Ways tab, set the scale to 3.
Wait, what? Seat. Yeah.
Check the phone box and set the coverage to 0.2 and
Fuck. Okay.
node to it. To layer ocean. In the shader editor, give the ocean a new material, and under the Ways tab, set the scale to 3. Check the phone box and set the coverage to 0.2 and name the data layer ocean. In the shader editor, give the ocean a new material, import an add node, and connect an emission node.
Okay, hold up. Before that,
to it. Now connection at 0.2 and name the data layer ocean. In the shader editor,
oh damn, those look so good.
give the ocean a new material, import an add node, and connect.
Wait, what?
Let's create an ocean in Blender.
Fuck. Did I
Start
just
restart, name
restart?
an add node and connect it. In the shader editor, give the ocean a new material, import an add node layer ocean. In the shader editor, give the ocean a new material, import an add node, and
Nope, cancel. Okay, I love how this guy, compared to like previous tutorials we had, absolutely doesn't explain jack shit.
connection. In the shader editor, give the ocean a new material, import
I don't even know what fucking.
an add node
Well,
layer ocean. In the shader editor, give the ocean a new material, import an add node.
okay, import an add node. Gonna have to Google the shit. Yep. One, two. I actually never moved past model in Blender, so I have no idea. Important existing node group such as geometry nodes, file. Shift A.
And connect an emission node to it.
Emission, you say, huh? Oh, there it is. Emission.
Now connect a color ramp to the emission.
Wait.
the data layer ocean. In the shader editor, give the ocean a new material, import an add node, and connect.
Oh, okay, hold up, I see. Add shader, right?
An emission node to it. Now connect a
Hey, Treddy. That's a funny name. We're just learning these Blender tutorials. I've been struggling for a little bit today.
color ramp to the emission.
Double ASG. What?
And an attribute node connect. In the shader
I don't know what the double ASG stands for. I'm not following with the acronym.
editor, give the ocean a new material.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the following. We're almost finished with the stream. We've been following different Blender tutorials. Next week we actually gonna be learning to texture properly because I have not learned to texture yet. But we made this tunnel. And now we're trying to follow this quick tutorial to make an ocean. Character to female? You mean to turn my character from what it is now to a female character? Because I have that option. I do have that option. Hold on a second. There it is. Thank you. Wait, why is it not working? In Blender, making a female character? I mean, I am a... Well, number one, yeah, I do make my own character. I actually working right now on a character for my friend as like a representation, because every now and then I have friends arriving on my stream, and like I wanted some visual representation of them, and for that I'm working right now. For my friends, free. For somebody else, also free because I have not worked for anybody else yet. I've been working on one model for a person, but they are cheaper. Yeah. Hold on a second. I gotta double check something too. My dogs, bro. Well, like I didn't like so far I've been doing stuff for free mostly because I am learning. If I was doing something professionally, or somebody was like deliberately asking me to do something for them, I would probably ask for a compensation, So it's kind of that kind of deal. At least 200, wow. I mean, I genuinely don't know what the commissions are for I genuinely don't know what the commissions are for models, but 200 sounds steep. I do get constantly contacted by people who are like, I actually make models in my free time, but I'm pretty sure they stole those models. I'm like 99% sure because it's like one of them is 2D, another is 3D. All of them are like in different style, So I'm kind of like, I don't think you're a real person. But yeah, it's I don't know what What is an actual rate for models, I wonder? Because I made my own and I was like, I'm kind of satisfied with it. That sounds crazy. Also, to be fair, I assume that also goes into the idea of like, well, you also pay them for the rig, like software, some sort of like rigging software. Because I have not made rigging software at all. I'm using a free rigging software I found online because I'm not skilled at that. So like like the bones and everything is mine, but like the rig itself. If he good or she, it's a it's a funny way to say it. That makes sense. That makes sense. But I mean, I assume if you're good, yeah. Like I wouldn't call myself very good, so I would definitely not be asking for that amount of money. I actually was thinking for like a kind of like a scheme kind of thing is to start. Yeah, yeah. I wonder how much the people who contact me for like, okay, yeah. I wonder how much the people who contact me, because like every now and then I get like a chat person who's like, it's usually first name underscore last name, like two numbers. So I know they're a robot, okay? And I know they're a bot, and they usually contact me with like, I actually also make fucking models. Do digital art. Do you want to exchange like artworks? Do you want to like commission me for something? And I wonder if people fall for that, and if they do, how much do people make from it? Well, so far, people who contact me have like first name underscore last name numbers. So I'm like, that's a robot. But I think it's often somebody named Bella. There's often somebody named Bella, to the point where if I meet like a real life person who's called Bella, I will like think they're. I assume so, because who the fuck calls their son Treddy? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it just. Ballerina. Oh, that's a name. Why would you call your child Ballerina?
We'll import an add node and connect an emission node to it. Now connect a color ramp to the emission and
Okay, color ramp. Color. Ah. Well, that could be not their real name too, to be fair. Also, Freddy, so you're familiar, I assume, with Blender in some sort of way or form? Because otherwise, I don't know why you would come in on a random Blender tutorial. Yep. So, what do you think of tutorial I'm following so far? We made little ocean modifier, adding all of this. What do you think?
an attribute node to the color ramp and set the name.
God damn it, attribute node. Fair enough. At 3. Good. Well, how did you get into Blender? Thank you. How did you get into Blender? Because I got into Blender in high school because I was like killing time, and I was like, I'm not a very good artist, but like I bet I could like make 3D models. So I've been working on like 3D models during like my spare time whenever I didn't have homework. and now I'm trying to get better at it, I guess.
As the same as your data layer, change the base color to a dark blue and set the transmission.
Oh wait, ocean. So how did you get into 3D models? Dark blue. Spicy chick, but it turned out like she like a pro. That's funny. Actually, I think there is a talent in people who make 3D models that look like 2D model. It is very impressive out of all of them.
Mission to 1. You can also use the color ramp to dictate the amount.
Transmission, wait to 1. Hey, that's the guy that we were. That's the guy that we were just watching. Wait, hold up. Not this guy. Where the fuck is he? Nope. We were just watching the donut guy. We were just watching the donut guy. Yeah, Blender Guru. I mean, he's a nice guy. The reason I stopped his Blender tutorial now and I'm following this one instead is because Blender Guru said that you need to use his websites like specific textures, and I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. I do keep him at 2 times speed, to be fair, and also I'm like following him live, so he's not the funniest, but he is entertaining. He's like a teacher, I guess. Like he's entertaining because I'm actually am interested in models, so like, you know, it's kind of like if you're interested in something, you're not studying, you're having fun.
Amount of foam. To animate the ocean, go to the Modifier tab. Hover
Jesus Christ. Modify tab.
over the time value, press.
No, I am remembering what he's doing. I mean, right now because we're talking, I am a little bit distracted, but I am following what he's doing and remembering.
High to set a keyframe, then move the timeline.
Oh. Ah, fuck. That's wrong. I don't think I missed so far anything. I understand what he's doing. So he has I mean, obviously this is just a base color. Then there is a shader, emissions, color ramp, which I'm honestly most of the time I'm just used to editing those directly in this tab out of all of them. Like all of the stuff I usually just edit over here, especially like add shader. You can just like choose add shader, and like I'm used to doing this in here. Like whenever I see this, I just like usually replicate it directly in here. But I think it is a useful thing to start like working in here as well, you know. Oh, thank God. I was kind of nervous that like the Blender thing would be showing like my name for like the yeah, rigging is difficult. It's challenging in the sense of, I mean, I guess the base rig dependent, because like just simply adding bones for like the fingers, everything else is kind of fine. Add in when you add in clothes to it, you need to make sure that there is certain like weights for the there's certain weights for the clothes, because the clothes need to kind of like fold nicely throughout the thing. Hair rigging is kind of annoying because you need to like have like a bounce, make sure it doesn't stuck anywhere, and have enough bones so it's like kind of like fluid and doesn't look like choppy. And when you're doing an animation, yeah, like real human. Design is very human. But one of the things that I'm thinking about now, that we're talking about this is the wait, what? Is this no longer a plane? Oh no, there it is. Oh, interesting. Hold up. Huh. Okay. So yeah, like stylizing characters is interesting. One of the things that I'm thinking about right now is the fact that I cannot do it here. Okay. Damn sucks. One of the things that I'm thinking about is I actually I actually do have like a Reddit account I created specifically for this channel, and on subreddit or on r/blender help, I did put in like, can somebody help me, because I was struggling with something, and nobody fucking answered. Nobody at all gave me any sort of help at all on r/blender help. And the only time I actually got somebody help me out was yeah. The only time I got help was actually last week. Last week I had the guy come in during the stream like this, where I was talking about Blender. And I was like, like, what do you think? Oh fuck. What do you think about what do you think about like this thing? Like, how would I fix it? And he actually did find exactly what I was looking for. Even so, I didn't manage to find by myself. I was looking for this. I was trying to make like curly hair like this. Yeah. The only time like I got help from this guy, and he was like, he actually like, there is a full fucking tutorial, and this is exactly what I needed. Like it's very sad how like Reddit gonna be like, ask us for help, and then doesn't fucking give help at all. Wait, not apply. How do you recalculate this shit? Oh yeah.
Along and increase the value of the time and press I over it again to set another keyframe. Now press play and you can see your ocean in motion.
Ocean in motion. Cloud AI. Or do you mean Claude? The ones that like Pentagon wants to use. Ah, that one.
Motion. Go to the modifier tab, hover over the time value, press I to set a keyframe, then move the timeline along.
Ah, that's how it is. Okay. Press I.
And increase the value of the time and press I over it again to set another keyframe. Now press play and you can see your
Um, he has only 21 dislikes. It's not that many. Like 21 people were. I mean, objectively, this guy like help in terms of what's it called this guy is not very good in like explanation, I guess. He's not exactly like the explaining time type, it seems. I think I did have it 2 times the speed. No, I did have it 1 time. Oh, he's a little bit fast, I guess. You're right. He's a little bit fast with the way he speaks, but I got almost everything. And if you don't get it, you can kind of just come back, rewind a little bit. At the very least, it's not a YouTube short. Like if it was a YouTube short, it would be like a little bit inconvenient because you have to like constantly search.
ocean in motion. Frame. Then move the timeline along and increase the value of the time and press I over it again to set another keyframe. Now press play and you can see your ocean in motion. I hope you've enjoyed this video and thanks.
I guess you would be right. Is that but in that sense, if English is not your first language, like English is not first language either, but if English is not your first language and you don't understand what this guy's speaking, saying, you can kind of find like a tutorial in your own language as well. So that would be convenient, I guess, right? You could just kind of find like another Blender tutorial. Wait, it's 1984? Wow. Fair enough. Damn. I thought this would be like a modern day animation. This is 1984. Which is very, because it looks so beautiful. It looks like every single like frame of this looks like a painting coming to life. It's really good. It's crazy. I actually kind of now want to search up this in real. Goddamn, dude. I definitely need to see more of this. More of this. This is fucking kind of cool. But back to what I was saying. Well, good for you, I guess. All my teachers were way older than too old for me to care about the likes of the skirt. Um. Yeah, I bet. Not this guy. Here's a little Hollow Knight animation. By the way, yesterday I got like a copyright strike for that iconic I guess so. That would make sense.
I'm alone here on my island, floating in the sky. I'm high above the world I used to know, and I'm far from any danger, safe from any failure. Got it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like yesterday when I was playing one of these animations, it had like that you know, like meme Chinese song. I was like da 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 da. It's like that. It's like that meme, like if you're trying to meme like hashtag China, like that would be the song. And I thought that would be like free use or something, but no, it's apparently copyrighted in like US under some like American group, which like means that you cannot use it at all, or it's gonna be banned from or you're gonna get the copyright strike, which is really weird.
I found shelter in the storm. I'm hiding in the blue clouds.
It is genuinely weird how his character was like finishing in suicide by the end of the story. It's such a depressing ending. It's crazy. Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's been a while since I watched an anime. I have been mostly reading manga now, which is like more of my speed, I guess. But I'm familiar with most recent animes. This animation is so good. They even did like it's actually fantastic. They even did like the camera spinning around the characters. It's really good. Depending, because subtitles. If I'm watching it in English, that's subtitles. But if I was planning to watch it in, like for majority of my childhood, I was watching anime in Russian. So in that case, dubs, because actually like Russian dub is pretty good. I'm very irritated by English dubs because I don't know why, but in English dub, women sound the most annoying I could ever hear. It's just unbelievable. Like I would much rather have just subtitles instead. But in Russian sub, it's actually pretty good. In Russian dub, it's actually pretty good. Also, like I'm kind of miss Ukrainian dub because while there isn't a lot of Ukrainian dub, there is Ukrainian dub for Naruto. There is a Ukrainian dub of Naruto, and I'm pretty sure Ukrainian dub for Naruto is also made by the same people that voice the Simpsons, because like it just sounds amazing. Because like at one point you have Kakashi, and at the other point you have Homer Simpson. It's fantastic. It's the best thing you can ever hear in your life. I haven't watched anime in a while, so I honestly can't even pinpoint to you which side I would be using for anime. I haven't watched anime in at least 3 years now. But when I was using it again, I was watching it in Russian, so like it would be a Russian website, so you know. Um. Mm, Anim Kai. Um. Like again, I've been mostly just reading manga now, so it's um but yeah, sometimes I can just still like Google, like if you just search up in Russian, um whatever anime you watch, like JJK, JJK смотреть на английском sub, you can kind of get it. Or just like английский sub, you can kind of get it. I'm growing bored with isekai genre. It's getting oversaturated. There's too much isekai, too much reincarnated. Yeah, I feel like we need to like. I want more and more worlds where I'm growing bored. I want like I want more I want more worlds where a person is born in the world and they live in that world without like any travel shenanigans. They're just like just a classic kind of character. I genuinely don't know why so many isekais. I guess maybe it's because it's power fantasy for people, where people want to travel to another dimension, live out their fantasy. But that never kind of entertained me. Or maybe it's just the laziness of how do we explain it to somebody about this world building? Well, how about they they travel from this world to another world? So now we explain. Well, we have to explain it to them that like actually in here currency is little girls. No, I enjoy action. I enjoy magic. What I don't enjoy is MC number 100 who was born who was born in our world with no magic get transported to the world of magic. I want MC who was born in the world of magic, who lives in the world of magic. Who lives in the world of magic, and he's doing magic in the world of magic, kind of like, I guess, Chainsaw Man, for example. This anime, it's about the guy who was born in the world where there is demons running around, and he lived in the world where demons ran around, and he keeps living in the world where demons running around. I want to stop seeing like I get transported in the world and there's demons running around. Okay, I want to see I was born in the world where demons running around, and now I'm dealing with demons running around. What? What are you talking about? What?
No, you cannot tell me a joke. I am tired. I'm trying to cook. You know what? No. If the joke isn't funny, I'm hitting you in the head with the pan.
Deal.
Go.
Why is dark spelled with a K and not a Z?
Why?
Because you can't see in the dark. Get it?
What? No, no. Yeah, I'm waiting for
Enough! You dare disrespect your rightful king? You may have served my cowardly father in the War of Seven Winds, but I am your ruler now! God.
Freddy, I have no idea what you're talking about. What? That sounds unfair. The person granted omnipotence can destroy entire world if he gets betrayed. Friends leave him. Is isekai full omni power? So he can. What are you talking about? Are you having a schizoid break?
Take this treasonous knave to the slaughtering block.
Oh shit! What the hell? I'm getting out of here. What the fuck?
Not so fast, uncle. I've heard the rumors of your traitorous plot to usurp me and replace me with my father's whoreson bastard, which is why I've captured the boy and cooked him.
No, I know Sword Art Online. I just don't know where. I just don't know. I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Like I'm genuinely trying to follow what you said, but like your comments. No, I know Sword Art Online. I know Sword Art Online. But I have no idea, as that sounds unfair, as a person granted omnipotence can destroy. What are you talking about? I know Eminence of a Shadow. It's again, it's a isekai reincarnation. Oh.
Oh, shit! Oh, this guy's so badass! But my lord, think of the people! One must balance.
Can you imagine if like this was behind the scene of Game of Thrones? Behind the scenes, like Jeffrey is like just role playing what he's gonna say before, like to sound as evil as possible.
Silence, you feckless dolt! I pull out my sword. It's on fire. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Just kidding. I can tell when a goblet's been poisoned, you stuttering ape. Guards, flay him at once. I rip off my shirt. I am your king. I am your king. Forgive me, second uncle, but last I recall, the crown layeth upon my head, not yours. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. If you wish to eat at the king's table like a reeking swine, then you shall become a swine. Sorcerer, give this man hooves. Then like a big fucking dragon breaks through the windows. Oh my god. Seize him. Oh, that's good. I like that. I like seize him. Behead those bastards. Behead those bastards. That's clunky. What's the problem, third uncle? Having trouble finding your poison dagger? Perhaps it's because I have it right here. Shit. Guards, behead my treacherous eunuch advisor at once.
My lord?
Ah, yes.
me 14-year-old me in a shower role playing, like pretending to have a music video when my mom knocks.
What? What's up?
My sincerest apologies. Does the king require anything?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
You weren't talking to anybody?
No, I didn't say anything.
You didn't just scream, behead my treacherous eunuch advisor at once?
What? No.
Just kind of hard not to feel targeted.
No, I didn't say that. I mean that must have been you.
It must have been me.
As
if I were yelling in the hall.
I mean, I don't.
And then I heard the yelling and I came in here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, we're the only ones in here, and I just told you it wasn't me.
It's okay if it was. I'm not mad.
You know what? Can you go? Can you leave? Can you go now, please?
As you wish, my lord.
Go! Just get out. Just leave. Years in the torture chamber for my sanctimonious eunuch advisor. Guards, place this seedless heathen upon a spike. You know what? Put him on 5 spikes. Here's a new royal decree. How about before you enter a new room, maybe not. And you know what? You're bald. Everybody starts clapping. Hang this treasonous wretch on the castle wall by his. Does he still have a butt? Wait, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. The whole eunuch thing. Nobody asked you to do that to yourself. I climb up, I'm on the dragon's back. We're going to a new kingdom where no one is mean to the king. Dragon and I, let's go away together.
The crazy idea of like nobody asked him to be a eunuch. He just was like, I gotta be. That's why this. Anyway, on this note, we are wrapping up. Tomorrow it's gonna be Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. Oh fuck! I just realized you were watching it in a small window. After tomorrow it's gonna be Warhammer Space Marine 2 again. After that it's gonna be Doom Dark Ages. Last stream of the Doom Dark Ages. After that it's gonna be a new game that is rated 6 on IGN. So good luck. After that is gonna be Dead Cells and Dead Cells again, and then next Sunday we're coming back here to learn texturing, I guess. On this note, we are wrapping up. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.